Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, fasters. This is how I lost 117 pounds in 30 months. And that journey starts 14 years ago when I weighed 190 pounds and started putting on about 8 pounds a year until ultimately my weight hit 260 pounds. And that was the breaking point, because at 260 pounds, I was forced to make a decision. I was either going to lose weight or buy new clothes. I was already wearing extra large shirts and size 38 pants, and neither of them fit any longer. It was XXL shirts or cut out the junk. My day started with a bagel, cream cheese, and 16 ounces of black coffee. And I would eat that bagel and cream cheese while driving to work. I would buy the family-size box of Cheez-Its, a family-size box of Wheat Thins, and I'd just grab a big handful of them and put them in a plastic lunch baggie. And so I would have this really stuffed lunch baggie of Cheez-Its and Wheat Thins, and I'd just snack on them every time I started to run out of energy. Then the drive home would come. I had a stash of granola bars. On a really bad traffic day, I could eat a couple of packs of granola bars. Then I'd get home, and after I finished dinner, I would feel hungry within an hour. From around 7 p.m. at night, I'd eat ice cream, and then I'd eat the baked popcorn with flavoring. And if that didn't do the trick, and I'd just munch on Cheez-Its and Wheat Thins until 10 p.m. at night, I'd be wide awake until midnight, and from there I would crash, get my 5 hours of sleep, and start over. So there we are, 260 pounds, very worried about my weight. When I go to start losing weight, the very first thing I got rid of was the cream cheese. Blame the fat. Then the second thing I got rid of was the ice cream. Now, the ice cream is sugar and fat, but once again, go after the fat. So the rest of the diet stayed the same. I'm now eating a bagel with nothing on it. And then in the evening, the carbohydrate stayed and the fat went. Well, one day, I literally dropped the bagel on the ground. I wasn't going to eat it after that. And no, I didn't get into my console and take out a granola bar. I had no compunction to eat them. I got up in the morning, I never felt hungry. I was eating out of habit. I was perfectly fine to sip on my coffee and do that hour commute into work. The very next day, I just got in the car and threw the bagel in the back where I couldn't reach it. The bagels were being tossed in the back of the car, and no, they didn't stay there. When I got to work, I would throw them in the garbage. But back of my car wasn't a pile of bagels. Don't worry about that. There was an individual at work who would keep saying to me, the trick to getting thin is to not eat after dark. And so I translated dark to be as late as I could possibly get. My goodness, we'll call it 9 p.m. and I'll eat up to 9 p.m. After the bagel incident, I carved 5 hours off of that eating time. I got my eating from 16 hours a day down to 11 hours a day. And while that doesn't appear to be a large change, that within 2 months, I had dropped 20 pounds. I was down to 240 pounds. My clothing all fit comfortably. I'm still obese. My BMI is a 33.5. It is absolutely no good, but I'm no longer dreading having to go from an extra large shirt to an extra large shirt. One day when I get up to leave, I discovered my entire lunch was still in my lunchbox. I forgot to eat it. And I didn't even realize I had forgotten to eat it. I open it up and there's all my food. Well, I didn't eat lunch yesterday. I didn't even know it. So today, maybe I should skip lunch. And that was the beginning of the next period of 6 months. I still drink lots of coffee, far more than I should have, but I didn't eat anything. And even if I began to feel hungry, I just concentrated on my work and the hunger would go away. So any food I was going to eat was between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Now that's 5 days a week. That on Saturdays and Sundays, I would have 2 meals. I'd have a lunch, I would have a dinner. I've never heard the phrase intermittent fasting at this point. I'm pretty sure I've heard people talking about 1 meal a day, and I was only eating dinner. I was doing a dirty 1 meal a day. So my coming to 1 meal a day was an evolution of slowly just not eating the food. And I'm still eating fundamentally a sad diet, a standard American diet, a lot of carbohydrates. And yet my weight has come down 70 pounds and I'm thinner than I have been in 20 years. My BMI is down to 23.7. It's healthy. I'm now wearing a size 34 pants and they fit great. As I was losing the weight, my skin around my middle was staying reasonably tight. I wasn't ending up with a lot of extra flabby skin. Now, as far as I know, there's only 2 ways you can get rid of that loose skin. One is through surgery, and the second is through autophagy. So it appears that, at least for my body, it was doing a good job burning the body fat and tightening up the skin every day. Before, while there was absolutely no chance I was entering ketosis, there was no chance that I was ever moving into fat adaptation and burning fat. In fact, that was very clear as my body was putting on weight, that I was clearly storing fat and not burning fat. I'm experiencing ketosis. My body is actually burning that extra fuel that it's been saving all these years. And there's a good chance that I was experiencing a mild increase in autophagy every single day during the work week. Now, during the weekends, I wasn't giving myself sufficient fasting lengths to enter autophagy. I retired from my job. And I was going to sleep earlier at 10 p.m. and I was sleeping longer. I was now sleeping till 6. My mother-in-law, who was 89 at the time and still living in her own home, she really needed now 24/7 professional care. We placed her in a really nice nursing home, but to help afford the nursing home, she needed to sell her house. I took over the responsibility of renovating our house. Now I'm doing a home renovation. So every day I'm going over to the house to be renovated, and I'm there from 7 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. And the entire time I'm there, I'm on my feet. So I've gone from a desk job to a full all day on my feet. I have no understanding what's really happening in my body, but I just felt I needed to have a good breakfast before I go and do this work. A couple hours into work, I was having food cravings. I broke my fast when I ate that breakfast, and I switched from ketones back to glucose. About 2 hours in, I easily burnt off that glucose, and my body was saying it wanted more. But when I finished renovating that house, that next 6 months, I spent on my own house. I have very wooded lot. I was going out into those woods and working 6-8 hours a day, cleaning them up, cutting down dead trees and chopping them up for firewood. I'm certain that I gained a good amount of muscle during that time, and it probably accounts for most of the weight gain. My weight moved from 170 to 177. My BMI stayed in the healthy range, and my waist didn't get any larger. This is the same time now as RFK Jr. enters the government, and he's beginning to say, no added sugars, eat whole foods. So I shift to a whole food diet 24 months into the 30 months. At this time, I still have not heard of keto, intermittent fasting. I wasn't following diets. I wasn't reading about diets, and I wasn't out to change my life. And then YouTube serves me up a video by Dr. Berg. I had no idea who he was. I had never seen one of his videos before. That video was the first thing I saw that started to explain what I had gone through for the last 14 years, and especially the last 2 years where I'd been on this changing diet and changing eating schedule. And from that video, I clicked into Dr. Berg's YouTube site and I started watching other videos. I went on to see 172 videos from Dr. Berg. And in total, I watched 653 videos on metabolic health. The result of that, I went back to a 4-hour eating window. I pushed my breakfast forwards till 10 o'clock, and I pulled my dinner back to noon, 1 o'clock. That then split my movement period. I would move for several hours. I would do my 4 hours of eating. I would research and watch YouTube videos on metabolic health in those 4 hours. And then I'd go back outside. I would resume my physical activities. As for the diet, I'm now eating a healthy keto diet. I'm in ketosis. I'm eating so low carbohydrates, there's nothing to take me out of ketosis. So I'm now in ketosis 24/7. And not only was that life-changing, if you look at what my body was doing, cleaning itself up and repairing itself, I'm now in autophagy for 8 hours a day potentially. I'm in significant autophagy for 4 hours of those days. And I began resistance training. I began lifting dumbbells. Doing resistance exercise with a couple of these guys. 5 months on the keto diet, my weight went from 177 pounds to 148 pounds. That changed my BMI from a 24.7 to a 20.6. And my waistline went from a 34 to a 32. The last time I wore a size 32 pants, I was 18 years old. The eating window being at noon was breaking up my day too much. So I moved the eating window to the morning now. I lost my desire to drink coffee. In fact, if I drank coffee, I felt the buzz from caffeine much more. So I limited my coffee to 1 6 to 8 ounce cup. I started turning off everything around 7 p.m. I found it very easy to fall asleep in the evenings. After 5 months of this new lifestyle, the one thing that it was missing was moving into an advanced state of autophagy. And to get to an advanced state of autophagy, I'm going to need to fast for more than 24 hours. I ended up not eating for 5 days and 6 nights. Where I drink water with electrolytes, salt, potassium, magnesium added to it. After the 6th night, I decided I would eat. Not because my body was telling me to eat, not because I was feeling hungry. I ate because I'm now 5 days into a fast and I didn't have an exit plan. They talk about a cleansing reset. You can really feel it. I could really feel it. And so I decided I'm not going to eat on Fridays. Fridays will be the day of not eating. I stop eating at 10 a.m. on Thursday. I'm not going to eat the rest of the day Thursday. I'm not going to eat all day Friday. I'm not going to eat Saturday until we hit 8 a.m. So that's not a 24-hour fasting period. The total number of hours is 45 hours. Now that I've created a weekly 45-hour fasting, in terms of autophagy, that turns into a potential 21 hours of advanced autophagy. Previous to this, I had only experienced advanced autophagy in that 5-day, 6-day night fast that I did. Now I'm going to be able to move into a state of advanced autophagy once a week. In addition to eating only 6 days a week, every quarter, once every 3 months, for 1 week, I'm going to fast. This year, I've already done my first week of fast. It was the first week of January. I made a few videos that you can see at my channel on that. So is this the end of my journey? Absolutely not. Come along on the journey with me. Subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm so glad to have you with me.